we're back with the first beer. So, guys, you had a chance to taste it. John, why don't you start?
Okay. What I'm getting on the nose is I'm getting a lot of I'm getting floral. There's a bit of fruit there as well. Can't quite pick out the fruit now. I'm kind of getting oranges, that sort of thing. It's quite pleasant on the nose. Now it does kind of fade away a little bit. It's only been poured a couple of minutes, but it does seem to fade a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Ben, you want to say something about it?
Yeah, it's good. Nose-wise, I wouldn't quite get that much. It's not offensive or anything. It's just quite subdued, and on the palate, it's nice kind of floral hops. Not too much bitterness. It's, if I was to hazard a guess, I'd probably say red ale. But no, it's a nice beer.
Okay, Kieran?
Where's the mic?
Oh, the mic, is it right? Okay, sorry.
I got you. Yeah, I've found it a little bit muted on the nose as well. I just get beer on the nose. It sounds silly, but it just has quite a beery nose. A little bit yeasty, quite malty. There's a nice bitterness to it when you... to me, I'd be kind of going along the lines of red ale as well, I think. It's nice little bit of hop bitterness in it. Yeah, I'd go with Ben there in the red ale.
Okay, Dave.
I'd be with Kieran and Ben. I'm not picking up the same stuff that John was picking up, but then again, he's probably got a better nose than us. Yeah, I'm picking up a bit of fruit, a bit of floral kind of flavours, but nothing intense. I don't know. It's kind of it starts off pretty decent, and then as the lad said, it kind of fades a bit. If I was to hazard a guess on a style, I would say a light kind of pale ale. That's what I'd be thinking. Sessionable kind of pale ale.
Okay, John, the microphone is back in front of you. Can you guess approximately? So, what did you say for the style? What you were thinking of?
Well, I was picking up kind of fruit and floral and that kind of stuff on the nose. On taste, I'm getting there seems to be a bit of malt there, but I think it was Dave maybe said that it might have been a red. I'm aiming kind of towards an amber or somewhere around there. And on the nose as well, I'm getting a bit of alcohol as well. So I'm guessing ABV wise, you're talking about 5, maybe 5.5 or thereabouts.
Okay, so let's ask the ABV guessing machine. The microphone is in front of you. So
well, it's got a nice flavor profile, but I don't find it's being carried very much. So I'd imagine it's a lesser alcohol beer, so 5 or possibly under.
Okay. Dave, the microphone will be closer to you, and then we'll go back to you, Kieran. So, what do you think is the ABV?
Somewhere about, I'd say 4.5 to 5. I'd say, my guess.
You want to venture a guess of what beer is it?
What beer is it? Am I looking for a style or an actual beer?
Actual beer.
I actually initially said pale ale, but I suppose I'm getting swayed now by what John said. Maybe it is an amber. I would hazard a guess. If we're going to think amber ale, I would say O'Hara's Amber Adventure. That's my guess.
Okay, Kieran, the microphone is right in front of you.
Going along with the crowd on the strength, I'd say between 4.5 and 5. I was actually saying it was a red ale. I think there is quite a bit of hop bitterness in it, and I think a lot of breweries have a habit of calling things IPAs that aren't. So I think it might be labelled an IPA, but I think it tastes a bit more like an Irish red or an amber. So I'd say 4.5 to 5% amber to red, probably in colour, but I suspect it might be called an IPA.
Okay, but Kieran, back to you again. What do you think of it? Do you like it?
Do I like it? Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
If you, is something you recognise?
I couldn't say. I couldn't say I've had it or had it. It's not a very distinctive beer, to be honest. It's a perfectly drinkable beer. It's nice. There's nothing terribly memorable about it to me, though. So it wouldn't jump out if I've had it before, unless I had it like this morning or this morning.
Okay.
But if I'd had a few of them very recently, I might recognise it. But No, I couldn't begin to pick out what beer it is. To be honest.
Okay, Ben, the microphone is in front of you. So what do you think of the beer?
I like it. It's more of a kind of a hot day drinking out, a sort of lunchtime beer. It's not very strong, and the bitterness and the hops are there, but they're not very pronounced. So it's a quaffable beer, and it's perfectly nice. I'm going to stick to my guns and stay with red. It does have a bit of malt in it, but it doesn't seem malty enough to be an amber. So I'm going to stick in with red. As far as whose red it is, I'm more a fan of hoppy reds, like maybe the Sunburnt or 8 Degrees. Was it 8 Degrees one? No,
the Sunburnt is 8 Degrees, yes.
Or Kinnegar's one. And this is a very different style of red. So I was just going to say I don't know.
Okay. John, what do you think of the beer?
I think it's quite nice. It's I'd have to revise my ABV guess down, I think, a little bit, having tasted it a little bit more. There's I'm getting stuff like kind of a hint of caramel actually on the palate as well, and it's actually quite a dry finish. So not terribly bitter, but there is quite a bit of bittering there. But it's quite pleasant overall. I like it, and I think very much kind of a sessionable beer, very drinkable.
Is it something you would drink again?
I think I would. I'd probably downgrade it to like a kind of a lawnmower beer, something that you could kind of sit out, maybe have a few of, you know. But yeah, it's quite pleasant.
Okay, Dave, the microphone is in front of you.
Yep. What's the question?
What do you think of the beer? Well,
yeah, I like it. It's a grower, I guess. Initially, I just thought, I suppose, with a lot of microbreweries, Irish microbreweries, due to pasteurization, and I suppose bottles sitting in off licenses, or they can after a while get a bit, stale. I just thought, but then as a warm, to kind of grew on me a bit more. I'd say stick to my guns. I'd say definitely, if it's not a light pale ale, it's kind of a lightly hopped amber ale.
okay.
Yeah.
You guys can take your blindfold off for this one. And we are drinking Cotton Ball, Kerry, local brewery. It's a pale ale. So Ben, sorry. You've had this before, Dave?
Yeah, we've had it on draft a few
Yeah,
times.
and on draft, yeah.
Mhm.
And ABV is, I'm losing my headphone, ABV is 5%.
5%.
So
Yeah,
you
I
were
think-
under 5 under. Yes. I'm gonna have to take notes. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to take notes on all your guesses. Maybe one day we should do a little test. So
I'm ahead there, definitely. I got definitely 2 points for that.
yeah.
I'm taking another one.
You had the start right.
Ben 0.
I think it has. It's quite a lot of roasty flavors in there for pale ale. In my defence, they call it.
I'm just glad you went first.
Well,
We knew you'd be wrong.
That's a nice beer. But yeah, I actually suspected it was going to be called an IPA, but they didn't do that. I think a lot of breweries would have called this an IPA, and less of that kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, no. For me, the way I taste it, I think it's
I mean, certainly
definitely pale ale.
it is pale.
Yes, it
most-
is pale.
most certainly an ale, and
It's not overly hoppy.
No, but it's not.
It's very fresh, and I actually quite like it.
it is. It is what it says it is.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect summer beer. Actually, for a day like today, it was actually pretty nice.
Would you agree? You could almost say it's more of an English style ale than an Irish style ale. It's got the hop profile, but it's quite muted and very drinkable. But
I
would have to see some example of English pale ale. I'm not familiar right on top of my head with English pale ale. I think it fits for an Irish pale ale, as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's right between, because I would consider an Irish pale ale as something between an English and an American pale ale. geographically and descriptively.
Yes.
And I think that's what it is. I think it's hoppier than an English pale ale. But it's certainly not an American pale ale. So I'm happy that it's an Irish pale ale. So.
All right. So that was the first one. We're going to go on a quick musical break, and we'll be back shortly.